By now you know of what happened in a town just south of Houston today, so we will not recount the details. Our Chris Vanderveen, who has the unwanted expertise so many Coloradans do on the topic of school shootings, wrote down a few thoughts about our national sickness.
That guy came in and he just started shooting people.
And then everybody was panicking, everybody was crying.
It's just not safe. This is just so wrong.
America has fallen ill.
Nobody should go through this. Nobody should be able to feel that in school.
We are diseased, a contagion that kills far too many as it leaves our children feeling vulnerable. Consider that word, vulnerable.
And that's when I called my mom.
When we as adults feel vulnerable to the acts of something like terrorism, we change laws, we secure cockpits, we kick people out, and we fight wars. We do what we feel it takes to feel more secure. Yet how is this not a form of terrorism?
Nobody should have to go through this, and nobody should feel that pain.
Ask a child if they feel safe today or tomorrow or the day after that. Ever since two terrorists walked into Colorado's Columbine High and killed 13, our children have felt less safe, less secure. So consider this. Had men with dark complexions and strange-sounding Middle Eastern names walked into our schools and killed as indiscriminately as American children have, we would change laws, we'd secure our schools, we'd kick more people out, and yeah, we might even consider a war.
And there needs to be something done.
But since the shooters are our own, since they grew up here in our cities, in our neighborhoods,
and we're praying for you. Everyone is praying for you.
We offer little more than a passing thought and an occasional prayer as we ignore the disease that festers inside a national subconscious that has resigned itself to doing nothing when children die.
It hurts my heart to see this.
The reflections of our Chris Vanderveen, journalist and father. He covered the Columbine school shooting and the Platte Canyon school shooting and the Deer Creek school shooting and the Arapahoe school shooting. And Chris will cover Colorado's next school shooting. Those are his thoughts. We welcome yours. Please get in touch with us. You will hear discussion today of the preliminary report on last week's small plane crash outside Parker. It mentions 10-mile visibility right before the plane slammed at a high rate of speed into a field next to a subdivision off the Ridgegate Parkway. Here's what you need to know about that visibility number. The National Weather Service measures visibility in 5-minute increments. Visibility for that pilot was at 10 miles 4 minutes before he lost contact. But a minute after he lost communication, visibility had already dropped to 4 miles. Our meteorologists say that indicates a front backing up into the area, enveloping that pilot and that plane in low clouds very quickly, and within minutes, he went down. Do not be deceived by recent headlines about an arrest in the mysterious northern Colorado shootings of years ago. 3 years to the day after John Jacoby was shot and killed while riding his bike in Weld County, his killing is still unsolved. So is the shooting of Corey Romero, who survived after being hit in the neck while merging onto I-25. It is only the third shooting in the string that investigators say that they solved with that recent arrest, the killing of Bill Knoll. A man named Christopher Parker was arrested in March for the shooting of Knoll. Investigators have not connected that arrest to the death of Jacoby on the bike or the other random shootings. And that's why the task force sent out another plea to talk about this once more today. Aurora Mayor Steve Hogan got to hear his eulogy. What a gift for any person to be able to listen in life to what people will say about you when you're gone. What will be said at Hogan's funeral tomorrow. When the mayor announced he was entering hospice care for cancer, the tributes poured in from across Colorado. I'm told he was able to see and hear those words and appreciate them. Mayor Hogan heard how people appreciated his nonpartisan approach. He'd been a Democrat and a Republican in elected office. Hogan heard how journalists appreciated that he had sought out accountability on tough issues rather than running from the questions and the cameras. And Hogan heard how much the city he loved him back for his lifetime of service as a state representative, then a councilman, then the mayor. Mayor Steve Hogan, who had spent a lifetime listening to Aurora, heard it all. Mayor Hogan's memorial service tomorrow begins at 11 a.m. at Heritage Christian Center in Aurora. Everyone is welcome. Something tells me you will want to get there early if you would like a seat. Yesterday we talked about a missing sailor killed at Pearl Harbor, finally coming home 77 years later. William Helstern was 20 years old when he was killed. His remains were not identified until recently when a genealogist asked for a DNA sample from his nephew. That nephew here in Colorado found a lock of his mother's hair tucked into a family Bible. Today, Helstern was buried at Mount Olivet in Wheat Ridge. Photojournalist Ann Herbst went to the service along with his nephew.
No man left behind. Ted Hummel
There's just stuff you can't put into words.
never imagined that promise would be fulfilled.
When the call of our country was heard, self was forgotten in the cause of the greater good, imbued by a spirit of devotion and a love of his native land, William left his home to serve his country.
Away for 77 years, Ted's uncle, William Helstern, is back home. Back together with his sister Jean, Ted's mom, at Mount Olivet Cemetery.
My mom never had closure, or my mom's with him right now.
Ted knows that would make her so happy.
I don't know if you can put this on TV, but you probably can. My 37-year-old son I'm talking to last night that was real close to Grandma, and he said, "Dad, Grandma's going to be in heaven. She's probably going to wet her pants."
Lighter moments. After all, this is a celebration, a homecoming.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, the U.S. Navy will perform the flag folding ritual.
It's finally complete. You know, military says no one ever left behind, but 77 years old, you think that's getting a little ridiculous, you know?
A family grateful for a promise never forgotten, never broken. For Next, this is Ann Herbst.
William Helstern's sister caused a bit of a commotion when she chose to be cremated. Her Catholic family didn't all love that choice. But all these years later, it means that there was room in the family plot for her brother to lie and rest beside her. A quick word about the political response to today's school shooting, which is now as sadly expected as the shootings themselves. Advocates for gun control are increasingly blunt these days in calling out politicians who take handfuls of money from the gun lobby. However, in my view, the progressive group Progress Now, led by 9 News political analyst Ian Silveri, crossed the line today. It is one thing to say that Republican Senator Cory Gardner's pro-gun rights views put school kids at risk. He would disagree. That is why you have debates and elections. It is an entirely different thing to show the senator grinning, covered in the fresh blood of children, as Progress Now did today. They told me that they wish people were as outraged about the deaths of children as they are about this bloody image. I think that's a false choice. This kind of vile imagery may whip up the base. It may get them donations. But this is beneath even the bottom of our politics today. We love when we get your news tips. I am not saying that we believe all of them. I mean, some of them seem too strange to be true. Like the one about a guy who found blueprints to the original World Trade Center sitting in the trash in southwest Denver. Well, as we've learned, sometimes even the strange news tips turned out to be true. These are, in fact, architectural blueprints for the World Trade Center. As we've said here before, they are real and they're spectacular. They were found by Jake Haas, who spotted them left out with the trash in front of a home in Denver. The home is where Joseph Solomon and his wife lived. Solomon was the architectural planner for the World Trade Center. He passed away in November. Last week, one of his kids was helping mom clean out the garage, and with it, the blueprints. So Marshall Zellinger spent the last 3 days researching the how, why, the what of this. And one question that we had, Marshall, is why was some guy going through all of the trash? And what you brought into the studio here kind of gives us some idea why.
Yeah, Jake Haas brought me the rest of what he found with the World Trade Center blueprints. He didn't bring those back. This is what he saw on the side of the road next to trash cans. This is what caused him to turn back, pull over, and look through them. They're blueprints, slides dating back to the 50s, and those World Trade Center blueprints.
Well, you're looking at the World Trade Center blueprints.
These are the documents that became the talk of the newsroom once we saw them 2 days ago. Architectural blueprints from the original World Trade Center.
Do you think you should have it?
this stuff?
I think I should, you know, because what I did is I saved it from going to the dump. You know, this would have been, no one here would ever even see these.
Jake Haas found this trash treasure.
What actually drew my attention is all the documents were out onto the street. And actually under all this stuff was actually the blueprints to the World Trade Center.
Today, he brought us the rest of what he found. And the next team spent a good chunk of the afternoon looking through some really neat drawings, home additions, renderings, boxes of circular slides of family events, another snapshot of the World Trade Center under construction, and Kyle's favorite,
1981 MGM.
A sketch of a 1981 beer label that we haven't been able to figure out if it's real or for fun. Jake is offering to give everything back to the family, except the one thing he wants to sell. Now, looking through these, I don't know that Joseph Solomon, the architect of the World Trade Center, did all these, or if they're family or business related. We're still going through them. We know he was associated with Denver International Airport, the Convention Center, some buildings in the DTC, and possibly Kyle's favorite here, that beer label, which you're crowdsourcing for information about.
I'm convinced that it's a homebrew label that he designed for a friend or a family member, but one more little mystery found in the trash that we'll try and solve. All right, thank you, Marshall. Things worth fighting for are also worth fighting over. So that's what some of us did this week in talking about how to save the Denver Post. 2 town hall style meetings at the Denver Press Club. Journalists, readers, community leaders talking, arguing about whether the Post can be saved from its hedge fund owner, the guys who are pulling near 20% profit while cutting the paper to shreds. If you have thought of a possible solution, we discussed it. A new owner, a new Rocky, a subscriber boycott, an advertiser boycott, action by the community, resistance by the staff, some benevolent billionaire buyer. We talked about it all, often passionately, occasionally profanely, more than we can get into briefly here. But you can watch the whole thing online, thanks to the Colorado Independent, which hosted the event. Here's the deal. The Post is our competitor. I hope it's around for a long time to come. If it is not, Colorado should discuss what might rise from its ashes. I invite you to watch the link on the next Facebook page as people who care enough about this to fight about it explore the options. Some Coloradans had to take cover from the hail and heavy rain this afternoon. We'll kind of peek out to look at your weekend forecast and talk about whether we as a state are ready to raise taxes for better roads. Next. Oh, hell no. Not going to ding up my car. Not today. Forecast called for hail, and somebody parked near I-70 in Pecos was clearly listening. Clay Lalonde spotted this for us. I like it. You know, it's innovative. Bootleg, but effective.
Tracking severe thunderstorms tonight and tomorrow, the threat for heavy rain. Denver under a flash flood watch. A powerful area of low pressure spinning into Colorado, bringing up waves of moisture. The cloud deck in play all day, so temperatures were cool. And in spite of the cool weather, we still had enough energy in the atmosphere to create hail-producing thunderstorms. Some storms showing signs of rotation and heavy rain, a scene that will play out overnight tonight. Then the focus will be out onto the northeastern plains. A lot of lightning this hour in southeastern Colorado with the severe thunderstorm watch there and the snow level high. Those not paying attention might want to do a little camping this weekend. You'll be camping in the snow. Snow level about 9,000 feet. A winter storm watch out for many areas for about 9 to 12 inches of snow. Heavy rain continues for Denver and points northward for much of the day tomorrow. Some of the estimates are 2 to 5 inches of rain by Saturday night. Showers tonight, low 45. Tomorrow, cloudy, cool, high 49. What? It's a little warmer and drier on Sunday, and we're back close to 80 degrees by Tuesday of next week. But right now, yeah, Sunday's looking like the better day for outdoor activities.
Kathy, thanks. All right, who's in the mood for a tax increase? I should rephrase that. Who's in the mood for better roads in Colorado? That's basically the choice that's going to be on your ballot, right? Coalition led by the Metro Chamber of Commerce is pushing for a sales tax increase to pay for better infrastructure. We recently profiled a plan from the Independence Institute that spends about the same without the sales tax increase. So, to the organizers of the chamber, that begs the question.
Yours comes with the tax increase. Why is that vision better?
It's actually less expensive for taxpayers if you have a revenue stream. You pay less on those bonds because the market recognizes it's a less risky investment. probably more importantly, you actually are guaranteed you're going to get the work done.
Theirs forbids the money to go to anything but roads, whereas yours builds in 15% for multimodal transit, things of that nature. You've obviously had a bit of a transit issue going on in Arvada. Are you convinced that that money is going to be spent efficiently and wisely, given what's happened with the G line to your town?
You bet. I think what's important about it is the flexibility of those dollars. So in Arvada, we might use some of those dollars for a trolley system to get from the end of the Gold Line to our great Arvada Center. We might use it for trails. We might use it for sidewalks, for safer sidewalks, things of that nature. So it's very broad in terms of how those multimodal dollars can be spent.
So this whole thing with RTD hasn't soured you completely on the idea of mass transit?
You know, it hasn't. I'm still optimistic, the eternal optimist. We're going to get our train here pretty soon.
I like that guy's jacket. More of the interview will air Sunday morning around 8:50 on Balance of Power. Hey, listen, you knew that I could not wait to cover the royal wedding, and they held me back until this. Next. I lied. We're not going to cover the royal wedding on Next. Something tells me that you will get your fill elsewhere. Instead, let's talk about equally happy couples not rolling in piles of hereditary wealth and power. We swung by the city clerk's office to talk to some couples who are real, not royal.
My name is Kevin.
And I'm Brittany. So Mr. and Mrs. Noble.
Yeah, officially now, yeah.
I'm Liz.
And I'm Joseph.
We met in Chicago about 5 years ago almost. We hit it off and we did a long distance relationship for about a year and a half. Yeah. And then we were trying to find somewhere to settle down, and Denver was it.
Today happens to be our 4-year anniversary. We've been dating since we were 17 years old. This lovely suit we got at Kohl's for about $100. We got the tie for $1.88 at Goodwill, and then we got the used dress for about $200.
We are doing our wedding in Jamaica in about a month.
We're just getting our marriage license taken care of. The Jamaicans, our hosts, would like, proof that we have a marriage license before we actually head out there.
Love trumps everything, honestly. It shows that, having a deep connection with somebody and, knowing somebody and getting to know somebody and, making that step of getting married. Getting married, yeah.
I think it's very significant in that it shows that people of completely different backgrounds, even different nationalities and even ethnic backgrounds can, get together and find love, and that's really all that matters, I suppose.
We cried the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much.
We cried the whole time, but, this is what we wanted. In the long run, this is exactly what we wanted.
That was their good news. Your good news and your strong words for our strong words next. It's Friday, when your good news makes headlines. Today, you sent us a wave of it on our Facebook page. Good news indeed. Wait, Ryan says that there is absolutely nothing wrong with the blood-soaked photo of Senator Cory Gardner that takes issue with his position on gun control. Ryan writes in, I really do not appreciate your commentary about it. Are you a Trump-supporting Republican? If so, you need to be shut down. So that's where we are politically right now. If you disagree with somebody, you either Photoshop blood onto their hands or call for them to be shut down. Sad time, but have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.